Hello, you splendid animals. I'm Lisa Lancer-Rose. And this is This Animal Life. Anna's away this week, but I have with me the owner and trainer of Squall the Genius Dog, Bobbie Kurivial. Bobbie and I happened to record this interview the same day the Genius Dog Challenge published its findings. Let's jump right in. There we go. Okay, so you were telling me where else?
Back in January, he was recorded in USA Today. It was one of the pictures that was in the UK Daily Mail, the one where he's chasing his ball.
Yes, I love that picture.
It was on USA Today, and he was on Good Morning America.
I remember
his
that.
picture was anyway. Today was the final write-up on the Genius Dog Challenge, and then the follow-up on the memory part of it, which is really the important part, is whether or not they remembered the toys.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about doing this interview, about having you on this podcast since this podcast was conceived.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. And the fact that we decided to do it today, and
It's
today
amazing.
was the day, it is such a serendipitous event. I mean, you were in The Guardian, you were in Metro, NBC News, The Week in the UK, and NPR.
I had a bunch of people wrote me this morning. First thing I woke up, you were on NPR. I go, really?
Oh, I was trying to remember when we met. I think it was 2019, was it?
Probably right before this all started.
Yes, it was, and before the pandemic started. It was a stunt dog ring trial.
Right. I think it was before I actually, because he got in the study the end of 2019.
Okay. I guess I
it would
didn't
have
know
been
that.
Probably, I'm thinking November or December.
Because we met, you were the judge at a stunt dog ring trial.
Mm-hmm.
And Mick and I entered, and we became friends because I'm a stunt dog judge too.
Right.
And we started talking about all that. You came to our trial, at least one of our trials.
Right.
And then when lockdown happened, I got this wild idea to have a daily tricks class for free.
And we did that.
You guys were my most faithful students, which I kept telling my husband, I'm like, I think this woman knows more than I do about dog training. She's stalking me. But she's in the class every time. It was at least like 6 weeks or so that you and I talked dogs every day on that Zoom class. We did a trick. We did the box game every day for a while. And you were always working with Squall, but Squall's not your only dog.
No, I have a Papillon. Arden is my Papillon. And she was my real trick dog, but she doesn't have word learning like he does.
Isn't that interesting?
And I had no idea until I met some of the other word learner people that have, the one lady said that she had a word learner dog, and then she knew when she got her new dog, this is a couple dogs later, that she had another word learner dog, because you actually know they're that different from regular dogs. It's not, people don't understand, it's something that they're born with. It's like a talent they have. I knew it, but I never recognized it as being anything other than, oh my gosh, he's so smart. You know, I didn't realize what his talent was until it was tested, you know.
How did you end up with Squall? If you're
well, he's related to my other border collie. I had a border collie, Zizi. I don't know if you probably never met her. She was a really good tricks dog, obedience dog, agility dog. And so when I was looking for another dog, she was always so healthy. So I went back to her line. It's a very, very good friend of mine, lives in Illinois, and she breeds the border collie. So I got him, and he's my first boy. And
how old is he now?
Well, he's 5.5.
Oh gosh, he's older than I thought. So you got him as a puppy.
I got him as a puppy, and we started playing the same games. that we played with Zizi when she was a puppy. And I always told my husband he couldn't throw anything for her unless it was on the bed, because then when she jumped up, she wouldn't land on a hard floor. So he would throw the toy for her. And then what my older one would do is she'd take the toy out in the living room and then come running back in the bedroom like, oh, what do you want to do? And he'd go, where's your toy? And then she'd go find it and bring it back in. Like, big surprise, it's in the living room, right?
Okay, well, so right away you started.
Right away from the start, he had 2 toys. He wanted you to tell him which toy.
Oh.
It wasn't good enough to just get a toy. It had to be either ball or slimy. It had to be one of those 2 toys.
So the distinction was dictated by Squall.
Right away, he knew that had a name, and you need to give me the name and I'll get it. But if you don't give me the name, how do I know what you want?
He wanted
That's
to know
how
which
it all
toy.
started. As I knew he was different. And then when I started teaching tricks, deciding between 3 objects was nothing to him. Absolutely nothing. He picked that up right away. Well, what happened is it started to be fun. You know, it started to be, ooh, can we buy a toy and then we'll name it something? And we'd name it something and he'd play with it. And
so it was fun for you.
Yeah, we started putting it on the internet. I'd buy stuff. I'd take a picture on Facebook. I'd say, what do you think we should call this? And people would write in names and I'd decide. And if you look back on my Facebook page, every single toy, I would make him hold in his mouth, put on his nose and balance. And then it was his.
Oh, I love that trick. I just told you that the other day. I absolutely, it's so cute because he's so good at it.
But that's the way he learns.
Balance the toy on his nose and catch it.
Yeah,
and
that's the way he learns what it is. He's the researchers in Hungary call him a tactile learner, in that he needs
like
to have
child.
it in his mouth. You know what I mean? He can't just see it. He has to pick it up. In the one Genius dog, do you notice where he picked it up the wrong one?
Yes.
And then so that's how he learns. And
I noticed you would tell him go find it, and it takes him a second. I had a border collie like that too, who would, when I gave her a command, and I did a similar thing to my first border collie. She was probably maybe a similar dog. It was it would be about go to a room, go get a toy, and I was always compounding the command. It would be go get this toy in this room.
Yeah,
you know, or go get this toy in this room in this object. And I would send her, but she would. I saw Squall doing the same thing. He stops and he wants to make sure he's hearing you right.
Right.
And you repeat it and he starts to go, and then he's like, what, say it one more time.
He gets so excited when you send them. He gets so excited he can't stand himself.
And then he sniffs them and he mouths them. But he almost always, I think I only saw him in those videos. I think he makes one mistake
his accuracy rate is enormous.
Yes.
What happened is they had a Facebook thing out on dogs that knew like 30 or more toys. So at the point at December of 2019, he knew about 23 toys. So I wrote to the girl and I said, my dog knows 23 toys. So they zoomed, like we're zooming now. Mm-hmm. They zoomed in and they watched him get his toys. And they're like, well, yeah, we could use him in the study. So then we started, and he would work 4 toys for an hour.
Wow.
I would sit in my office. We'd send him in the other room. She'd say, put this toy here, 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 here. He'd run out, grab it, come back. I'd put it back and we'd change positions. And on and on. You could tell they were, writing all this down as a part of the study, whether or not. So they knew it wasn't chance. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Okay. So that was
for an hour.
All prep before any, like when you go to Genius Dog Challenge and you see
this was
how they set up. This is way before any of that.
This is January of 2020.
Because when you first told me about it, and I think you mentioned it, I know you mentioned it when we were meeting every day during the lockdown, and beyond, you would tell me what had gone on. And
it was so exciting. I was excited that he was in the study. Of course
you were. Yes.
And then when I found out what the challenge was, I mean, they sent us a box from Hungary of 6 toys.
Okay.
And we opened them up, and I had a week to teach all 6. And I could teach them however I wanted, but I had to teach 6 in a week. And some of them, they weren't even pronounced in English. I mean, they give me this name and I go,
I
really?
noticed in some of the videos that she tells you the way it goes in the video is she has two of you on screen at once.
Right.
And she tells each of you to command your dog to go look for a certain item that she has predetermined. And they probably told you which ones to lay out before this video starts.
Right. We had a picture and we knew which ones, but
sometimes you have different words for them.
Can you imagine there were 6 dogs, and we're talking about dogs that know 50 to 100 toys each.
Oh my gosh. That is not clear from these videos.
Imagine trying to figure out 6 toys that these dogs don't have and names they don't have, because a lot of the names, if they sound alike. For instance, I had a toy that I wanted to call Stick. It was a brown stick. Mm-hmm. But when I asked him for it, he brought me Steak, which he has one of those plastic ribeyes. Well, so I couldn't call it Stick, so I called it Miss Twiggy. And 6 months later, it came out, and I told him, I said, "Get Stick," and he looked at me like, "What?"
Oh no!
And I go, I'm pointing right at it. Get Stick, and he looks, huh? And I went and looked in my book. I have a book, and I went, "Oh, Miss Twiggy." He grabbed it and handed it to me.
There is an article in AKC that I came across as I was researching for today. By the way, I have the longest show notes of all for this episode.
Sorry.
By the way. It's okay. But it's by Mary Robbins. It's called "How Much Language Do Dogs Really Understand?" And it talks about exactly that. And it's more directed toward dog owners, this art, because it's AKC, than some of the other things that are scientific studies, and they're really talking about what is genius, what is talent, and how do you identify it in different species. But this says exactly what you're talking about, that dogs are not quite as tuned in to phonemes as I don't think they use that word in the article, but they're not. If you say sit or sid, I think is the example, we can hear the difference, but the dog doesn't.
Right. They have, I think when he hears a name, he somehow has in his mind what he's looking for. I don't know how he does it. And they don't know. The interesting thing is that the Department of Ethology, which is who was doing this study or is working on it.
Yes.
The reason they're studying domestic dogs, did you read that?
I did. Tell me.
It's because they live within the family, where apes, rats, all those, other research animals live in, crates and cages. They don't relate so that's how they think that dogs and children, they can learn
social learning.
To help kids learn
within the family unit and the family dynamic. So they wanted you to, from what I understood, they wanted you to just do whatever it was. You just play with the dog and use the name.
Yeah, it's something that people don't understand, because you read the comments. What they don't understand is this is not dog training.
Yes.
I can train a dog. I'm sorry, but I could almost train a dog to do anything. Give me a clicker and some,
they say we had one dog trainer. Of all the dogs they tested, they came up with 6. Do you know how many they tested?
They had over 20 border collies alone in there.
Yes, who didn't make the cut.
Yeah. And none of them had the talent. It's
that they were looking
not
for.
Training, it's a talent, because I'm at 88 toys. Now, I don't have time to teach 88 toys if I had to teach it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he just absorbs them. It's like, give me more.
One thing I noticed that they said that of all of the 6 owners in the study, one of them was a dog trainer. And I wondered if that was you.
I think that's me.
And then,
although one of the other dogs is an agility dog.
Okay.
The one from Hungary, Max, is an agility dog.
And the other thing that I noticed is that none of the dogs in the videos are getting treats for this.
Whiskey.
Whiskey gets treats.
Whiskey. He gives him treats every once in a while. I don't need to. So
no, that's clear. He just loves the activity.
It's the work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Whiskey gets treats. I really do. He's so spoiled. That guy is so nice. His dog goes up in the fjords of Norway. Swims in the fjords. I'm like, oh, I've met people from all over the world with this thing because all of us come from different countries.
Tell me about when you first got into it. When
the research study was. The research study was just that. It was just mundane. You know, we do it on Skype, and they'd have one computer in the living room and me in my room. And I thought about you when I was reading that they counteracted the Clever Hans effect by having us in a different room. And I thought, well, that would connect with the people that are listening to your podcasts, because you had talked about that. And they specifically said in the article published today that they didn't want anything from the Clever Hans, and I thought that would be interesting. So interesting. We're in a different room, and they would call me about. They'd give me a month to teach X number of toys.
Did they send you the equipment that you needed? The cameras?
No, we just did it on Skype. We just did it on two computers. You know, it wasn't that specialized. And we used our own toys. I just used known toys.
This is the early stages when you were just using your own toys. This was
January, February, March. It was only supposed to be a 3-month study.
Okay.
And so we did it for 3 months, and they said, thanks a lot. Well, that was cool. You know, and he went from, by March, he was up to 37 toys. And by beginning of summer, he was almost 50 toys already.
How much time a day did you play with these toys?
No, but the thing is that you don't have to. You just tell him what it is, and he knows. So they told me I had to teach 4 or 5 toys a month. He was taking in 10 toys a month. I mean, he just wanted to do more. And I thought, this is fun. I'm buying toys, giving them to him, and he understood them all. I mean, pretty soon I got a pile of 35 toys in my living room. And he's going out and fetching whatever I want out of the pile.
And he kept remembering them all, huh?
Oh, no, he does not. No, he does not forget. So then I kind of thought it was over, but it was so much fun. And people started sending me toys. One of my girlfriends in South Carolina says, oh, that dog rocks. And she sent me a plastic rock.
Oh, funny.
I mean, it got to be where everybody was, feeding him these toys. Well, then the researcher from Hungary called and said, we're going to do, or didn't call, we messaged with each other. Okay. And she said that we're going to do a channel.
Is this Claudia Fugaza or?
No, this is Shany.
Shany Dror. Mm-hmm. And
Claudia is the one, do you know the trick, do as I do, or mimicking?
I have her book. I think I told you. My one thing I didn't realize until recently, even though you and I have been talking about this for over a year, right?
Yeah.
Is when Adam McLosey's book came out.
He was the other guy.
Yes, he's the
head of the
head of ethology or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking. Yeah, it's called Dog Behavior, Evolution, and Cognition. It came out in 2016. I snapped it up. And then there was another book that book led me to, which was Vilmos. I don't know how to say his name. Vilmos Csányi. It's called If Dogs Could Talk, Exploring the Canine Mind. They are both behind the Family Dog Project.
Well, that's what this is. What happened is Shany is actually going for her PhD. She's a PhD
so she's student. One of their students.
This is her project.
And Claudia is associated with it.
Right.
And Claudia and Adam McLosey, Claudia Fugaza and Adam McLosey were both speakers at the Dog Behavior Conference that I attended earlier this year. And all this time, you're my friend. And I never knew that they were behind the Genius Dog Project.
Well, I think it was Shany's project. This was her PhD project. Because she was the one that was doing the tests, and every once in a while, Claudia and Shany would be.
Let's clarify: the Genius Dog Project is not what you were in fall of 2019. The Genius Dog Project.
No, that wasn't right. It followed the research. They started doing the research, and then what happened is they only had 6 dogs. Well, you can't do a lot of research with 6 dogs. dogs. You need a larger amount. So they decided they were going to do this Genius Dog Challenge, and they could put it on YouTube. And it was very entertaining. I had a lot of people watched it, and they'd tell me, oh, I can't wait till Wednesday to get to watch it again. So it did get dog enthusiasts interested in.
Yes, it was like a game show.
Yeah. So from that, they have gotten now, I think Shany said 15 more dogs.
Oh.
But it's still a rare enough quality that they're not finding what they thought. I think they thought they would find lots and lots of dogs, but it's not. It seems to be a pretty rare quality. Not only that the dogs know how to do it, but that they are driven to continue to do it, up to like 50, 60, 80, like 100 toys.
Chaser must have been one of those dogs.
Yeah, he was. He's
famous for 1,000 words.
He had 1,000 toys. I'm not going that far. I'm pulling at 100, but that was, that wasn't his first border collie. I mean, it wasn't like he just
Dr. Pilley.
Yeah, he doesn't pull this border collie out of a litter and said, okay, well, you're going to learn 1,000 words.
No, which is what happened with Alex the parrot, who people might also recognize from this kind of study of language acquisition in another species. Alex was just a random, deliberately a random African gray parrot from a pet shop.
Yeah, but people, I think they think that you could just take a border collie and train it to do this. And the thing is, what this research is showing is it isn't really that. It's really that they have a specific talent for this. And it's just, they're not finding that many.
Right.
And they're not finding very many pet. I mean, my Papillon looks at me like, huh? I mean, she could care less.
Your Papillon is no slouch.
I know, but so anyway, so then they did the dog challenge as kind of a promotion to try to find more genius dogs so that they could enlarge the study. And they now have found through the Genius Dog Challenge, probably, I'm not sure how many more, but probably 15, 20 more.
Okay. And this is international.
Yes. There are more in the United States. There's a few more. Than just me. Because I was the only one.
I mean, up to this point, it looks like you and Squall.
We were the only
Americans.
Yeah,
the only American geniuses.
There's a couple more, and now those dogs will fall into the research, and they're doing different research projects. They're not doing the same thing, but I don't know what'll happen in the fall because we're a year out. I have a funny feeling they might be doing some things, but I can't talk about it anyway, even if I knew.
Oh, I see. It would be top secret.
Yes. Well, it is. All the research we really aren't supposed to talk about a lot until it's published.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. And now that it's published, everybody understands what we went through. And if you read the paper, is very boring and mundane, but it's exactly what we went through. And it was interesting to be in a scientific study because I'm a dog trainer for trick dogs and agility and obedience and stuff like that. So I don't train dogs to do like they train them to lay in MRI machines and stuff. I've never even been on that side of dog training. Do you know what I mean? I was always on the fun end.
Yeah.
So, but
you're not an ethologist.
No, but I found this research to be very interesting, and it's taught me a lot about my dog and about dogs in general.
What are some of the surprising things that you've learned?
Well, I think that we expect our dogs to be what we want. Do you know what I mean? We get a dog and we say, okay, like I got a dog. He was a border collie. I want a working dog. He's going to be my agility dog. He's going to be my obedience dog. He's not. He's my word learner dog. So what he does is he learns words, and he's excellent at that. He doesn't do very well at the rest of the stuff in my life. None of my dogs have done what the dog before did. My first dog was an agility champion. She won nationals. She was just great. My next dog was an obedience champion. She loved obedience and everything. My next dog, Arden, was a trick dog. she did the other stuff, but not really well, but she was good at tricks.
She loved tricks.
Now I have a word learner and a scent dog. So I don't do any of the stuff I used to do. I got to do all new stuff. So it's interesting, I think, because you have to follow what your dog tells you they want to do.
Yeah.
They will, if you listen, they will tell you.
Right. But Bobbie, it sounds like you love pursuing what your dog loves. You love sharing and learning new things. They lead you into new adventures. It sounds like each of them.
Or a lot of people get the same dog. People that have done agility with dog 1, dog 2, dog 3, dog 4, right?
Yes.
I mean, sometimes you just get that. Sometimes you get a dog that just wants to do what you want to do.
I do see people have a favorite breed, and they go into agility, and maybe they had a great run with that first dog, and now they have the agility bug, and so they want that dog again.
Sadly.
So they will go back to the breeder or the rescue, wherever where they got the dog, and then they discover a year or two in that this dog just doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the right motivation. It's not paying attention, and they get frustrated, and
they get another dog.
I mean, so they love the dog. It's, and sometimes they do other sports with them, but
what I'm saying is, I think it's important, those of us that want to work with our dogs, who want to train dogs, need to look at the dog and say, okay, this is not what you want. What do you want?
Yes.
Let me open my horizon so I can explore something else. And I think sometimes we might miss perfectly wonderful things that dogs could do by just saying, I know you don't like agility, so you can go lay on the couch and I'm going to get Phoebe and she's going to do it, And there's a lot of people, because I've really found a fulfilling life by finding out what my dogs want to do. And Squall has taught me, because you can't tell a word learner dog not to learn words.
That's so cool, Bobbie.
You can try.
Wow.
Because he will sit there and stare at a toy. He puts them up on my windowsill in my office.
Does?
Yeah, he puts them up on the windowsill, because then I can see him staring at him. See, and then he stares, but he won't get it until I give it its name. I can say, get the toy. I don't know what's there. Grab it, hand it to me. Nothing. I get nothing.
Now, does he know categories? Does he know that that all of them are toys?
I can't really say that. He is starting to relate his words to regular speech. He hates it when my husband and I talk to each other, because he doesn't understand what we're saying and he barks at us the whole time.
Oh.
But if I go and I tell Arden, you're not going out in the yard because the squirrel is out there, Squall ends up bringing me his squirrel. So he's just starting to relate to that. You know what I mean? Where he hears a word in regular conversation and he will go and get his toy that's named that. And he's a couple of times he's started to relate words that we say to things that he knows. Like I'm teaching him push to go around the outside of a jump. And
yes.
I told my husband, we're sitting, and I said, people tell me all the time how pushy Squall is. And he went and ran to the porch to do his push. So he is starting to relate some words to conversation, but
and also to actions.
Objects. It's mostly objects. I think actions are pretty easy to teach. It's the objects are different. It's a different learning. So
yes.
Yeah, I'm proud of him. Like I said.
Where are you now? How many?
88. It was so funny. I don't know if you saw my latest one, is Tweety Bird.
Yeah.
And he's black and white. So he's holding Tweety Bird. My friend from the Netherlands goes, he looks like Sylvester. And I never even thought that, but it does. It looks.
Yes, it would. Yes, we should say, I was thinking this earlier, Squall is a very handsome border collie. He's a smooth coat with
he's the only smooth. He's the only smooth in the study.
Yes.
All the other ones.
You have quite an array of types of border collies in the study. I think there's a Merle and there's a red and white. There's a tricolor.
Yeah. The one girl's dog has epilepsy.
Oh no.
Nalani from Netherlands. And that's how I was reading her article today, that she started doing teaching toys because Nalani, when she gets overamped, you know how border collies get, that she'd have seizures. So in order to calm her down and give her something to do, she started playing name toys. You know, I named toys because I'm an older woman who I haven't had a lot of ability with my health issues to exercise him as much as he should. So I've always gone with the mind work.
Yes.
You know, in the mind, he does get tired, you know, eventually. Kind of.
Yes. That with a border collie, a young, healthy border collie, mental work can be more exhausting than physical work. They can just go forever. Yeah.
So, but that's how it's. There is one more interesting thing that I found, and that is during the studies, if the dogs would make a mistake, they would usually stop and play with your dog or do something, because if they make a mistake, their immediate next thought is to go back and get the right toy.
Okay.
So it's almost like there's a cue in their brain, because they'll bring the wrong one. Okay. Then if you ask them for another one, they will go back and get the one they missed.
Wow, that is interesting.
It's really weird. And it's happened not only to Squall, but to other border collies. That's why when they set up the study, if the dog makes a mistake, they don't just, wouldn't just go on and ask them for something else, because
they have a loose end and unfinished business.
I was amazed at that.
Yes.
Because he'd be wrong, and then you kind of look at him and you'd ask him for another one, and you'd get the one you asked for that he was wrong.
And then you'd always be behind one.
Yes. So they actually, in the study, if the dogs made a mistake, they had to stop, play with the dog, give it some treats, do something in between, and then start back.
What do you think's going on in their mind?
I think I think that they know they're wrong. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel right. And so, and the highest rate of him, if he's wrong, he's right the next time. He's never wrong twice. He's never been wrong twice.
Wow.
So it just sometimes, they'll grab something and come, and it's kind of like, a kid going, he
wants to get it right.
I got to go get the right one. But it's not just him, which I was really surprised to learn that one.
You see what is so distinctive about Squall, you also see those traits in these other dogs.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, it's just not him. It's their, whatever they call them, word learner dogs. One of the newer ladies that was added in lately said that she knew that she had a word learner dog because she had one before, but like a couple dogs before. She said, as soon as I forgot his name, Fido, I knew he was a word learner dog because I had one before. So it's not something, it's something that that they're different. All the comments you read, they're always, oh yeah, you can train that. The one lady with the challenge was, oh yeah, they're just waving their hands, or, the clever Hans effect. She just was not convinced that it wasn't, that they were in another room completely.
Oh, they thought you were cheating.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, people, that's sad. Yeah. Sad that they would assume that.
Well, it is hard to believe.
Well,
you can understand that.
Yeah, it is until you've lived it.
How has it changed your life to live with Squall?
Well, because it's just it comes natural to be surrounded with toys. And what's really odd, we have to put them away once a month because somebody comes to clean my house.
Okay.
And after that, you will find them scattered. There's always one in the bathroom. There's always 3 in the kitchen. He will bring toys back out. And honestly, they're always placed. He's always got them in his crate, got a couple in the bedroom. He'll carry them into the bathroom. And then all of a sudden you're surrounded by toys again. They're all over my house.
He decorates.
Isn't that weird?
What's he thinking?
And the best one is he eats the soft toys.
Oh yeah.
You know how, and so all his toys look alike. I swear they do. They all look, they're all just big pieces of plastic.
I wanted to ask you, do you have trouble remembering the names yourself?
I have a book.
Oh my gosh, really?
Oh yeah, I have to write them down or I'd forget them. Because I have some that are stuffed in a bag he hasn't seen for a long time because I can't pick up fuzz off the floors. I'm not doing that. He's not eating them. So soft toys like Teddy, for instance, is one of his. He only gets that every once in a while. It gets taken away right away.
Otherwise, he'll gut it.
Yeah.
And
so in the beginning, he had a toy named Ball. And it was this red net, one of those netty balls. Mm-hmm. And he ate it. And so I threw it away. Mm-hmm. And then a little while later, I brought out another toy. I said, well, I'll just call this one Ball. Well, it didn't work.
What?
How can you rename something? You can't rename it. Ball is that red netty thing. I had the worst time. So I stopped and I waited about, I think it was 6 months to a year. And I brought out another ball and I named it Ball. And then I had to actually tell him, I had to throw it. I had to really, but it was difficult. The hardest
is fascinating.
He did not want to change from the original toy to a new toy.
Mm-hmm. So he retains these words for years and he's extremely precise.
So now I don't
about their meaning
anymore. I have Tire and then we have Red Tire. It looks the same except it's red.
So you have like an inventory of all of these.
Yes, I have a whole book. I do, to entertain myself, I do play the game. And I have a computer list. See? All of the toys.
Yeah, but how do you, that's just a list of words. How do you know how to match them to the
Have
item?
You looked on my Facebook page?
Yes.
All there.
Oh, so you just go to Facebook. You have a photographic record right there on Facebook.
Got it. Yeah, because I take pictures of all of his stuff and then
there's a photo album.
I actually play this game. I put all his 35 or 40 toys out. And then to tire him out, I write down as I call them. And then I write down if he brought it or he didn't bring it. Just kind of keep track of how he's doing. And
yes.
So it's just something we do all the time. We play that game. So it's, but it tires him out. It does keep him.
You do this every day?
No, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks.
So
yeah, because he plays all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's a day in the life of a genius dog like?
You're stepping over toys. You feel like you live with a kid. Yeah, I mean, he's always got a toy in his mouth. He's always bringing you one. But there are things we don't name. We don't name chew toys anymore. Like those little bones and stuff that you stuff. They have no names. Because
why is that?
Well, because I'm tired of naming things and then having to throw them away or whatever. And then that name is gone forever. I'm like, no. So I only name toys. So
when you watch the videos, you may notice Bobbie and Squall work and play using their climb table. That's climb with a K. It's a training pedestal from Blue 9. And in their honor, this animal life has a fantastic offer for you. A few years ago, my students were pestering me to do a bulk order to help them get a great price on climb tables. And, well, we all made our own training pedestals at the time, and I just didn't see the appeal. By the time they talked me into it and I placed the order, I had so many buyers that Blue 9 made me a lifetime distributor. The thing about the climb table is it gives a dog a place that they learn is their very own. Many training methods used by professionals often involve a dog training platform or a pause place table. The problem with most platforms and the ones that we used to make in our trick dog classes is they tend to be heavy They have a number of parts. They require assembly. They also require maintenance. We were always having to paint our galvanized steel drums that we used. The climb table, however, is a molded one-piece top with a fully washable surface, and it's strong enough to hold any size dog, but it only weighs 14 pounds, and you can take the legs on and off. It's versatile, and it's really easy to carry, and it's also weatherproof and so on. It's designed as a training tool for basic obedience, freestyle training. Agility trainers use it. It has interlocking units that form whatever platform size you need. They also stack for compact storage, so you can stack a bunch of them in a small space or in your vehicle or whatever. So now you can go to our website, thisanimalife.com, to get your very own climb. You can also add accessories or even another climb in any fun color. Some of my students have one in every color, and sometimes they come out like in a limited edition color, and my students snap them up. And I have to say, I'm kind of a sucker for that too. I have a nice little collection going, and it's really fun for photo ops and holidays, and goes with any decor. You can use it in your house. Like when a company comes over and they ring the doorbell, you don't want your dog jumping all over them. You can train them to go wait politely on their climb table. It's great. So the way you can get $20 off plus free shipping is to go to our website, thisanimalife.com, and enter promo code ANIMAL20. That's promo code ANIMAL20 for $20 off at thisanimalife.com.
And the other thing is how you teach new toys. Now, occasionally, if I have a new toy, I will just take a bunch of old toys and throw them. It's always in the other room. I don't do it in here so I can point at him. And I'll just put a strange toy out there, and I'll just give him the name. And he will pick it out.
He knows it's the one without a name.
Yeah. He knows it's the one he doesn't know.
Yes. So when he hears a word he doesn't know, he knows there's a toy that will be that word.
Yeah. And he'll bring that toy. Because I tried that. I tried that right away because it was in Chaser's book. And
I was just going to say, I read that
my
in
dog
Chaser's
can't
book.
be that smart. And sure enough, it was easy. It was easy for him. It was like nothing.
And that's
he
how
went out there.
That's how we learn.
Yeah.
You learn from context.
Yeah. I was surprised that he picked that out right away. You know, that's a toy I don't know. So that must be this new name that you're giving me.
And they're just wired that way. What do you make of the fact that all 6 genius dogs so far, of the public, according to the publication, there are 6. You say there are more now, but
yeah, there are
in the study. But as far as the news goes, there are 6. What do you make of them all being border collies? What's up with that?
Well, border collies are harder workers than other dogs. They're herding dogs. So anytime you get in the herding group, I think you have dogs that are more biddable, and they want to work. They so they obviously are going to accept things like this may appear in their breed more often because they are bred as working dogs. It's, they're
very focused and determined. Yeah. They keep going.
Yeah. But really, a lot of the new dogs are not border collies. Not all. They've got German Shepherds. They've got, and actually Yorkshire Terriers.
I saw that. I used to have a Yorkshire Terrier.
Vicky Luna was a Yorkie.
Now, come on.
Yeah, and there's a what is he? He's a it's a little smush face, not a Bichon, but I forgot. But he's really good. And there's a lot of mixes, and border collie mixes. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that anytime you get a working dog, the smartest dog, I think my first dog was a Beagle German Shepherd, and she probably would have maybe, but I don't think she's as smart as he is.
For this one thing. I mean,
I think border collies are smarter than your average bear. I just really do. And I think people who get them because they want a smart dog will kick themselves.
Yeah.
Because you don't always want a smart dog. And
right. And more than smarts comes with it. High drive. They
have to continue to work. Squall is also a herder. He herds and sniffs. He's a scent work dog too. So those are his other 2 talents. But so I also think that maybe this word learning is just a natural thing. It's just something.
Could this word learning be a manifestation of herding in that you're telling him to go out, like an outrun, go out and fetch, which is also a herding term, and bring back that one particular thing.
Well, the girl that herds him, we were joking. We were saying that she should name the sheep and
yes,
see if she could get her dog to go out and get the sheep by name.
I bet he would.
Well, no, yeah, but I don't have the sheep. So yeah, he probably would do something like that. But I think I was lucky that I listened to him, because I'm afraid that a lot of border collies and high drive dogs just might be ignored or told they're bad dogs and, locked up in crates, because people don't realize that if they have this talent, if I hadn't recognized it and I had a dog throwing things in my face all day, asking me, what is this? It's kind of like Helen Keller, as soon as I can name it, then he's fine. He's got a name for it. It's good. But, I can imagine people that would just frustrate. I found what he was asking me. He was asking me what the name is. What do I call this? As soon as you tell him what to call it, then he's fine. But it is a 2-minute right now. It's a 2 to 3 minute thing. It's not.
You mean he learns a new word in 2 to 3 minutes?
Yes, immediately. If he gets Tweety Bird, I can hand it to him. I can put it on his nose. I can throw it. I can throw it out with the other toys. I can tell him to get it. He'll get it. And then we're done. He's got it. He knows where it is. And if it's back in his crate or something and I ask him for it, he'll go get it. It's that fast. So
I saw them comparing these dogs to Einstein and Mozart.
Yeah, I mean, and people laugh. They really do. It's really hard to read the comments.
It's a very specific innate talent.
Yeah, and it if it's there.
Claudia Fugaza, in the scientific article that I think was published today, and she's one of several authors, and this will be in the show notes. They compare it to what I knew as perfect pitch. They call it absolute pitch.
Yes, and that's kind of what these dogs have.
Yes, these are people with absolute pitch are people who can hear any tone and can tell you the name for what that is an A sharp. They can tell you that. No matter what instrument is playing it, if it's a voice, if it's a guitar, they know that sound quality is A sharp as opposed to G, right? And so Squall has to know, he has to be able to apply what is this called, every single object that he can put in his mouth.
Right.
He wants to know the name of it.
And I still have no idea how he does it. I don't know how.
Or why.
I mean, you know what a Kong looks like, right?
Yeah.
Those little Kongs, and then they have one that's called a gorilla. And the only difference is it's got one extra bump in it. How does he know the difference? They're both the same. They're the same color. They're the same size.
Huh.
But if I ask him for one or the, he can pick them out like, no problem. He doesn't bring me the wrong one. He knows exactly. And all of his are just pieces of rubber. I mean, they don't look any different to me, actually. And
each item may have its own distinct scent.
We thought about that. And I think some of them do smell. But I don't. I think it's shape.
In his mouth. It's tactile.
I think it's tactile. I think he feels it in his mouth, because the one mistake he made in the Genius Dog Challenge was they had this toy was called Babouche, and it was a little tiny plush thing. And if he watched it twice, what happened is he ran out and picked it up right away. And then he realized it was wrong, but he couldn't spit it out. Because he was drooling and it stuck in his mouth. Well, he went back out and he went right to the right toy and bumped it, but he couldn't pick it up because he had this one in his mouth. So he ran into my room, took it out of his mouth, he ran right back, got the right one and brought it back.
So he could have been given at least partial credit for that one.
Oh, I think he definitely knew which the right one was, had he been able to get rid of Babouche, but.
After they learned them and were tested on them, at the end of 1 week, they learned 6 in 1 week, then they learned 12 in 1 week, and all of them were put away for 1 month, and then 6 were removed that they had not seen for a month, and they were tested on those.
And then 2 months.
And then 2 months, another 6 that they hadn't seen for, it was another month later, which meant 2 months had passed since they saw those 6.
Yeah.
And they were tested on those, and that was the Genius Challenge. And they're in like video playoffs.
Yeah.
Squall versus Nalani and
Yeah.
Squall versus Max. And there are all these videos on YouTube. We'll give you the link in the show notes.
It's fun to watch the challenge. It really is. And it was fun to do. It was really kind of I got really nervous because I'm sitting in my office. I have my computer, and when
we can see you,
the Steamplex, I can see me, and then I could see my living room.
Yes.
So I could actually see him go after them.
Yeah, he's in the other room, but there's a camera there. And so you had feed to that camera as well. You must have been on pins and needles.
If you watch it, it goes so fast. I mean, he's so fast. Yeah. You can't really tell. And all of a sudden he'll walk back. Oh, that's it. You know, it's hard to focus on it all. But it was fun. It was fun to meet all the people. And we all, on the last one, we all got together. They put all of us on the screen at the same time, and we got to get our little medals.
You got medals, yes, that you all had a present that you weren't allowed to open until that moment. You were all on screen together.
It was in our last box of 12
adorable.
Toys. There was a little wrapped package in there.
And but a medal.
Yeah, I'm really glad I got involved in it. It was the most fun. The hardest thing was trying to figure out whether or not you had any toys that looked or sounded like, and I didn't have any trouble with the sounds because I was the only English speaking dog.
Okay.
See, everybody else.
That was a perk.
Yeah.
I did notice sometimes it sounded like you said something different than what they said. And sometimes the item looked different. She would hold the item up and he'd go get something else and she'd say, good. And I'm like, wait a minute.
See, they had Puffin was a big bird. Mm-hmm. And I had Puffin was a dummy, like a soft dummy toy, because I already had a bird. She already had a soft dummy toy. So she had to actually figure out. She had to send us pictures of things. You have these, you have these. It was hard because you're talking about 600 toys that these dogs had. Whiskey's 100, and I think he's up to 150.
Wow.
And I know Nalani's way over 100, but we don't really I don't compete, we don't compete with each other. It's just, it's the experience. It's not the number of toys, so, but I am going to get those last 12 in.
Oh, so that you hit 100.
Yeah. I need to find 12 good toys.
Get a sock.
Those.
Go out in the garage and see what's in the garage that he can.
You know what you can do with this dog though? I took one of my socks off the other day and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I held up the opposite sock and said, go get this. And he went and got it. He went and got the pair.
Wow.
So he does match to sample really well. Forks, spoons, and,
spatula. Part of the fun must be the quest for the next toy.
Yeah. And I'm thinking of alphabet letters.
I couldn't help but notice you have a box next to you that you're putting them in.
Yeah.
But you also have a very handsome climb table.
I have several. I have several.
I mean, that's the climb table is part of your routine. Obviously, it's in every.
Did you notice on the Genius Dog Challenge? He always got up on the climb next to him.
Yes, that's part of his routine.
That's because they wanted him. They wanted the dogs to be seen with the people. Okay. And a lot of those people are a lot younger than I am.
They're down on the floor.
And then the dogs would come. Well, I couldn't sit on the floor. And so she wanted a way that Squall could, because if they look right at you, it's a lot nicer looking on TV.
Absolutely. Yes.
And they wanted this to look good. It's like a little doggy game show.
I was saying that. Yeah, it's a doggy game show.
Yeah, I would watch that, I think. A lot of people were excited. They'd start watching because Squall was in it. And then they'd go, oh, who's on this week? And they'd actually come and talk to me and say, oh, I saw Max or I saw whatever. So a lot of people watched. I guess one of them had 40,000 hits or 400,000 hits. Could that be possible? They said one of the hits on the Genius Dog Challenge was huge. Huge.
What is next for Squall?
What is next for Squall? I know they've got him in some more studies. I have no idea what they are. he's not out of the program. He's going to be used for research once they have a dog that they know will work.
Absolutely.
And they know they have a person that will work. And,
you guys
I'm sure
deliver.
they will. I'm sure they will put me back on and do some other research with him. And I think it's good. I think we can learn a lot.
So there's more fun to be had.
How people learn and how it'd be nice if we could learn more about how children learn information so that we can help kids that, sometimes I think he's a ADHD savant. And if we can learn how to help those kids, although he is getting better now that he's, 5.5, he's older.
They do mellow, don't they?
Yeah.
Both of mine, Maisie is 5 now and she's kind of chilling. And Nick is 9. Yeah.
Oh, wow. He can't be 9. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
And you're doing agility with him, aren't you?
Yeah, we're kind of slowing down with agility. And I started doing obedience with him. I decided I'm going to try to put some titles on him next year. So, in fact, tonight we have competition handling. And
so you don't you like obedience?
I like it more now than I did 30 years ago. It's a little more upbeat now. It used to be more military and exacting.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it still has a high bar, but the way it's trained is easier on border collies. I will say my border collies have always been kind of sensitive, and they want a lot of interaction. They want a lot of feedback, and it used to be that when they want a lot of variety. Before, you would just do the same thing over and over again and say, no, you're not doing it right. No, you're not doing it right. And they would get discouraged. So
sometimes I think that they feed off of the repetition. I can do this. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Do it again. I'll do it again. Because other breeds like Arden did it once. Hey, I did it.
No, you're right. Mick will do the same thing over and over again for the same reward till the end of time.
Yeah.
He will run his paws off. He won't stop to eat or drink or rest or anything. Maisie, she'll do it 10, 20 times. And then she goes, can we do something else now? If she gets bored, she gets tired of stuff. Yeah.
Now, Squall he's a different obedience dog. I don't know that he'll ever get titles. He's so wild. But
he is wild. He's perpetual motion.
His scent work is amazing. Nothing short of amazing. I can't believe him. I have to think that that's the same part of that extreme discernment that he has about which item. Yeah, I kind of wonder sometimes. It's amazing that you say how much it could be sent for toys, but I don't see it. But maybe it's more than I think he has radar. I think the things are bouncing off the toys on the floor, and he can tell what.
You said that it's like a bat.
Yeah, but I wonder because you could tell he does sniff when he's going for toys.
Yeah, maybe watch that more closely. What senses he's relying on.
And the accuracy rate, if you look at the little video that they sent out today on the dog challenge, that the accuracy rate on the 6 toys was 84% between the 6 dogs, and the 12 toys was 86%. So that's pretty high.
Yes.
On teaching within a week. And to even come at 50% after 30 to 60 days is pretty stunning. They were pretty interested in that. So I'm wondering if they're going to repeat the dog challenge with some of the new dogs.
Well, I did notice that they are still looking for canine geniuses. And if you go to the website, geniusdogchallenge.com, you can apply.
Yeah.
That's just
what I like about the podcast is it's fun to have a conversation, but it's hard because you're yelling at the wait a minute, it's kind of because you get involved in the talking.
Yeah.
And you kind of think you're conversing with 2 people, and then you go, wait a minute, they can't hear me. Yeah. I didn't like the one with the, that dogs don't lie because they don't lie. But, that's the only one
I said that they lied. It is a false alert, which is a problem too, to call it a false alert, because that implies falsehood. It's a misunderstanding. I'm pretty sure we say that it is a misunderstanding.
Yeah. And it is because they don't And even in scent work, if my dog alerts on something, I will demand you pick that up and show me it's empty. And there are a lot of times it ain't.
Ah.
Or it's something else, something else is, but yeah, they don't.
In the case of false alerts, in the case of a false alert, it is just a miscommunication, a misunderstanding, misreading. The dog misreading the person or the situation, the person misreading the dog, or overestimating, or projecting, like they want something to be there, like especially when it's a cadaver and you're looking for like a ghost. You're looking for a ghost, like somebody was dead here. A human was dead here. And there's no evidence other than the dog. So that's just rife for potential misreadings.
But they can tell years.
Yes. I mean, but the dog can tell. You just can't. The dog just can't say.
It might not be this dead person.
Yeah,
but something dead, and it could be not even a person. They could be telling you, "Hey, my favorite squirrel died right here."
Well, it is human.
You missed it.
It is supposedly just only human, but they can't tell you when. They can't tell you actually when. I'm telling you, I'm alerting. This was 1852 that there was a dead person here. This wasn't the murder you're thinking about. It was 1852, and the woman died of a stroke. That's the dog can't tell you that.
Well, that's like an agility or obedience. I mean, if you can tell the dog to do something wrong by
that's another thing.
You could move your shoulder and the dog's going to go somewhere and you're going to go, I didn't tell. Yes, you did.
That's a big part of the false alert. That's why Cat Warren won't let cops be around or anybody who has any idea what they think happened. She asks everybody to turn their backs or leave the room. Yeah.
That's what I like about toys being in the other room. I can't.
Yes, it's all the dog's decision making.
It's not my fault.
Mm-hmm. But that said, all this said about the false alerts and cadaver dog and other scent work, I still think dogs can lie when they want to.
I don't think they have it in them to make those decisions. I don't think they're that smart. I think they only make decisions that they're told to make or have been trained to make. I don't think they, a guide dog makes a decision on whether or not he's going to take the person across the street because he knows whether or not the traffic is coming. Okay. That's a decision, but he's not going to lie. He's not going to stand there and go, guess what? There's no traffic.
Coast is clear, sucker.
Do you know what I mean? They don't,
they do.
They only deal with what they can deal with. And it's only what they've been taught or what they are being told.
This might be a good topic for another day. If anybody has an example of a dog telling a fib, I would really like to hear it.
A lot of people will say, that the dog, I hear it all the time with people. Oh, well, I was going on vacation and my dog peed in my suitcase because he knows when the suitcase comes out that I'm leaving. No, that T-shirt was probably peed on that 2 weeks ago and you never found it. So he's just repeating the deed because he thinks it's okay.
A blind
he didn't
study.
Wash it, so,
We'd have to do a study. Well, Bobbie, this was so much fun. It's really nice to see you again. I'm so excited about Squall always.
Oh, I'm glad that you found out all about him.
And yeah, I really did. I did a deep dive. I'm a big fan. So thank you so much for spending the time with me to tell me all about Squall and
good luck with your trick classes. I hope they go well.
Yeah,
I saw your advanced in the actor thing and everything. I hope good luck with that.
Thank you. I did some of that at the Tampa club and that went over well. And I did a survey at our club. What do people want? And that's what they wanted. So
it's mostly advanced tricks more than just basic. Yeah.
People are getting trick titles in Star Puppy class and basic obedience class now. So
and they don't. Yeah. Well, you won't believe how many tricks I approved during the COVID. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people got trick titles.
Yeah, it's something you can do at home.
Well, let me know how your tricks go. You never know.
I will.
They want to come over and see some of your advanced tricks someday.
I would love that. And we'll have to do a stunt dog ring trial or something together.
Yeah, we need to, especially if people are doing advanced tricks.
Yep.
Thanks, Lisa. This was fun.
I had a blast. Thank you, Bobbie.
Bye.
Remember, if you want a great deal on a climb table, go to our website, thisanimalife.com, and enter promo code ANIMAL20 for $20 off plus free shipping. Special thanks to Sarah K. Martin for our graphics. The cool music you're listening to was composed and performed by Chip Salerno. Give us some positive reinforcement wherever you listen by liking, reviewing, and subscribing to this podcast. It'll make us feel good, and you'll feel good too. You know it's true. Now go get them, you splendid animal.